Yeah. Yeah. Like you get in the shower and it gets hot, it like starts it up again.
Yeah.
Does it not? I guess it just starts breaking that stuff loose.
Yeah.
Okay. It's 6:30. Let's stand and say the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, I need a motion to approve the agenda, please.
So moved.
Thank you, Jeff. Second,
I'll second.
thank you, Shannon. Any discussion on the agenda? Hearing none, all in favor? Any opposed? Any announcements? None, no, okay. All right, public comment. No one signed up for public comment. Anybody for public comment? Nope. Moving right along, consent agenda, approval of this consent agenda, please.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Thank you, Randy. Second,
A second.
thank you, James. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? No. All right, on to the regular agenda, the reconvene of the public hearing, text 2203. Oh, I'll need a council member to make a motion to enter into this public hearing, please.
I make a
Reconvene into it.
I make a motion that we reconvene into the public hearing for text 2203.
Thank you, Sandra. I need a second.
I'll second the motion.
Thank you, Jeff. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, we're in. I'll ask again, does anybody have a conflict of interest over this matter? We're about to hear. Nope, me neither. Okay, thank you. So, I would say as far as y'all got along, I did watch on Zoom. I would ask if any council has any question for staff at this point. Anything we need to rediscuss? No?
So I do have some for Michael. So last time I asked about that, so I guess you've got an answer, right?
So we were talking about Mills River Brewery specifically,
Yes.
the light industrial district, which again, their lot is zoned for, allows for secondary uses, and I'll just read this section of the code. Secondary use is allowed by right. For the purposes of this, a secondary use is defined as a use which is incidental, supplemental, or accessory to the principal use of the property and may include a structure or structures at any location upon the property, which structure is utilized for a secondary use. The following secondary uses are permitted in the light industrial district. And the first one is the one that I believe would cover them in Bold Rock, and it includes cafeterias, restaurants, pubs, including catering activities meant to support the principal use of brewery beverage production.
Makes sense.
So that would only be in a light industrial setting or zone
That's correct.
property then, correct?
Correct.
Do you see any other zoning district that it would fit in other than that one?
I don't believe any of the other zoning districts has
That,
this allowance for secondary uses. There are some accessory uses that are allowed, but this is the one that calls it out specifically.
okay. You got anything else there, Randy,
Well,
for discussion on that matter?
I guess I just have a problem with. Okay, if I've got a piece of property in the mixed use area and I had a business in that, it would not, a food park would not be, the way this is written, would not be allowed in mixed use. Because it would be a secondary business instead of the primary business.
But that would be the case only if you have an established principal use. So yes, if you had an existing principal commercial use, an existing principal structure on that property, then you're correct, you would not qualify for a food park. If it's a, undeveloped piece of land in mixed use that has no established principal use, then you would qualify for a food park, because again, it's meant to be a standalone use.
But if I had a business like a brewery or something else, and I wanted to do a food park, I would not be able to do a food park the way maybe my competitor is able to do a food park on that piece of property if it's in mixed use. The only way I could do it is if it was in light industrial.
Correct. With light industrial is the only district where you can have a food establishment as a secondary use, not necessarily a food park. And it kind of goes outside of the temporary vendor ordinance totally. It just allows a list of secondary uses by right.
They're basically sliding that in as a restaurant. You could possibly just reread that section one more time.
Sure, yeah. So again, for light industrial, a secondary use defined as a use incidental, supplemental, or accessory to the principal use of the property, and may include a structure or structures at any location. And I'll go through the full list. So the following secondary uses are permitted, again, just for light industrial. So cafeterias, restaurants, pub, catering, food. Number 2, the promotion, sale, and tasting of products manufactured or processed on the site. 3, recreational facilities, indoor and outdoor. 4, assembly, including venues for entertainment and other special events and conferences. 5, facilities for alternative energy sources, including but not limited to solar panels, wind turbines, converters, processors to recycle materials into usable energy, etc. 6, retail facilities, so gift shops. 7, sales, training, and meeting facilities related to the principal use, including overnight lodging. 8, agriculture for production of goods to be used in connection with the principal or secondary use. And then adult daycare centers or health centers. And then the last one is solar panels. So those are all secondary uses that can be permitted on a site with an existing principal use.
Gotcha.
But to your point, Councilman Austin, you're correct. If you're in any of the allowed zoning districts for a food truck or a food park, and if you already have an established principal use, you would not be permitted to have a food park, which, as the new language states here, would be 3 to 8 food trucks. You would be permitted to have 1 to 2 food trucks. And again, those are permitted as food truck spots. So the temporary vendors can change, and we require a registration form from every temporary vendor business. So we have the contact information, but we're really permitting the food truck location on the ground.
Right.
I guess my only reservation is that just because you have a piece of property that's in light industrial, making them, and I'm not saying this is going to happen, but it could happen. Somebody could have a business in mixed use, and they would not be on the same level playing ground just because that other property is in light industrial.
And if I could play devil's advocate, I mean, that's just zoning regulation.
It is, but
Mhm.
if it was just the primary use, but if they have a business and they're wanting to get into food truck business or food park business as a secondary business, just like it is at Bull Run or at Mills River Brewery, they would not be able to.
That's right.
And I think this was, when it was first drafted up, was to help light industrial, when, it states cafeterias, and give them a place to potentially have place for their employees to eat, but also possibly the public to come and eat as well. Restaurant, pubs, so on and so forth. Any more thoughts on that?
No, I'm good. I just have that reservation,
I would say that if the property owner in mixed use had enough property, he could potentially subdivide and create a different lot just adjacent to, and the food part could be its own entity,
You certainly
potentially,
could,
if it
sure.
fit the,
But then you would have expensive.
exactly, some
Subdividing.
surveying and recording of deeds and stuff, yes. And if it's mortgaged, it would be an issue.
Yeah.
Anybody else got any feedback on that one? Do we have any other questions for staff?
I have a question. Last time we talked about if it has wheels or not. Why not have lingo in the definition that says it has to have a valid tag?
The trailer or the truck?
Yeah, either one, like a up-to-date tag. I mean, we would essentially get a little bit of money off that.
I mean, if that's something council wishes to add in, we can, include that language. It just, it wasn't in the text amendment, basically the direction we got at the visioning session last year was just to change the number and the definition of a food park. And why that wasn't in there originally, I don't know,
There
so
is
some other towns, require evidence that you have health department approval as well. I think that was something that or the previous council considered at one time, but was not included in the ordinance.
Become a staff time thing.
Well, and what happens with those things is you could potentially have a food truck coming up from South Carolina
Yeah.
and that health department down there would hold their records for their sanitary record, I guess, and their permit to work out of it. And it might be a little bit aggravating to get. I guess they can bring it with them, but
I guess that'd be the same as the tag too, because South Carolina, you don't need a trail
maybe
tag.
not. Yeah, that's what I'm getting at,
Yeah, okay,
potentially.
okay.
Um,
Yeah,
Food trucks that are here, they do have to have a sanitation grade and all that, don't they?
Posted probably
I was gonna say, I
inside.
thought they did.
It depends on the type of food service being done. So like there's a new temporary vendor at the Living Hope Fellowship property on Haywood Road, Refuge Coffee Co. We just recently permitted them because they just do coffee beverages. They don't require a health department inspection. There's also somewhere else I've worked, we dealt with a donut food truck, and because everything was pre-prepared and not made in the truck itself, they also did not require a health inspection from the county at the time. But I don't know those regulations. It just depends on the
Exactly.
food service. Mhm.
Any other questions for staff at this time? Hearing none. Would the applicant, property owner, or any interested party wish to present anything at this time over this matter?
Do we have to do anything about didn't we continue the public comment or
You're correct in that we did recess the public hearing so that if someone wanted to make a comment tonight,
They could be present or have sent in a letter.
yes.
Okay. Since we don't have anyone here, there's nobody we can ask questions from their party. No public comment, any public comment on this matter? Hearing none. Well, Any discussion or additional questions amongst ourselves here?
If I may ask, Mr. Mount, are you aware of any food truck parks in our region? That'd be 2 or 5 or? I mean, obviously, I've seen 2 trucks at one location, which is one reason why I wanted to see a change to 3, but it seems counterintuitive. If I'm a food truck operator, I'd want to go to a concentrated area where there's already competition. You just want to get over here and be by yourself. I would, but I'm curious.
I have not, I mean, being a little newer to the area, I may not have explored as much, so, but I'm not aware of that. The one thing, it's slightly different, but it's a similar kind of principle use where there's multiple local food vendors. There's something called Gather Greenville. I think that's correct. Where basically, instead of operating in food trucks, they created a gathering space where local vendors operate out of shipping containers. So it's more programmed, it's a little more permanent. But that would be the only thing I could think of that comes close enough to that example, but not a food truck park. No.
Anything else? Mhm. Mhm. Well, if y'all are ready, I need a motion to close this public hearing. A motion to close it.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Randy. Second,
Second,
thank you, Jeff. All in favor of closing? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, so, we need to adopt a statement of consistency, correct, Michael?
I think I'll defer to the clerk, but I think the first action would be further council discussion and then a vote on the item.
Yes,
Okay,
you need to either approve or deny the
then,
text amendment and ordinance,
okay,
and then it would be appropriate to consider the
Okay.
consistency statement.
okay. So any more discussion amongst ourselves before we?
I'm good.
You good?
Good.
Sandra,
I'm good.
you good? James, or Jeff? No more questions, no discussion. Well, if that's the case, then, someone make a motion to approve or deny this, request.
I make a motion that we approve the text amendment 22-03, the food truck and food park ordinance revisions.
Okay. Second,
second.
thank you, James. All in favor?
Uh,
Aye. Any opposed? No, okay. So we've got that. Now we may need a little help with this, adopting the statement of consistency, how to word that one.
If you're comfortable with what it says, you can just adopt as presented.
I'll accept that as a motion then. Anybody? Okay with that?
Mayor Belt, I'll make a motion that we approve the statement of consistency with a comprehensive plan for the text amendment 22-03.
Thank you, Jeff. Someone to second Jeff's motion?
I'll second it.
Thank you, Sandra. Any discussion on this? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? None opposed. Good. Let's satisfy that, or you need something else, Mike?
Do we need to vote on the ordinance itself?
The way Sandra worded it, I was taking it that you were adopting both the text amendment and the ordinance. Or did I hear wrong? Was your motion to approve?
It was the-
TXT 2203
Yes,
and ordinance 2023-01?
I didn't do that.
No, you
second
did
one.
not. Okay, then.
So we'll
Sorry.
need to do
I-
that one separate.
Way I heard it.
Okay. So we'll need a motion to adopt the ordinance as presented.
I make a motion that we adopt the ordinance as presented.
Thank you, Sandra. Second,
Second.
thank you, Jeff. All in favor?
Uh,
Any opposed? No. Should be fulfilled. Okay. We, moving on, B, the reappointment of the Mills River Partnership Board for a 3-year term currently held by James Cantrell. How's that been going, James?
Good.
Good. You like it?
I do like it.
You
I've-
do like
I've done
it?
it for 6 or 7 years. Would like to continue.
Would you?
It's you guys' pleasure.
Okay.
Yeah, they meet twice a month.
Any discussion on that matter with the rest of the council? I got my hands full. Anybody? Y'all good with it? Well, if someone would make a motion to assign him to another 3-year term, please.
I'll make a motion that we reappoint James Cantrell to Mills River Partnership Board. for a
Thank you,
3-year
Mary.
term.
Okay. And do you need a start date or anything on that, or is it just take care of itself? Okay. So I need this, I'm looking for a second.
Second the motion.
Thank you, Jeff. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No? Okay, big boy, you get you another 3-year deal there.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
3-year service.
All right, moving right along. When you get caught up, town clerk, we'll hear from you.
I don't have anything tonight.
Awesome. Our league tax collector?
January, two property tax collections were $2,787,717.96 for 95.92. So beginning of February, we only have $77,000 more to collect. This is when at the beginning of the month, this month, February, next week, we're gonna be sending out some notices of pre-bank attachments. Bank foreclosures, so we can more people pay voluntarily.
When people typically start getting their tax returns back, does that make any difference in this at all?
Used to, but it doesn't seem to anymore.
Okay.
Just 3 or 4 years.
Okay, just wonder. Okay.
So, Arlene,
Or at least,
Arlene, a question. So the two collection percentages up at this, on your dashboard thing here, one's 22 and one's 21. Is that at the same time?
Yes,
Okay,
that's as of January 3rd.
okay, thank you.
any more questions for Arlie? Hearing none. Parks and Recs, we're no show tonight. We're good. We good to go.
I'll get that update in just a moment.
Okay, planning director, you got anything?
Nothing tonight.
Thank you, sir. Town manager.
All right. I've got a few updates to share with the board. First of all, from Parks and Recreation, Nicole is at a conference this week, annual conference that she attends for Parks and Recreation professionals. There's a volunteer tree planting day coming up on the 22nd, the afternoon of the 22nd. If you are interested or know anyone who is, we have a volunteer sign up on the town's website through our new Civic Rec program, which we're excited about. We'll be planting 50 trees that have been donated by Asheville Greenworks down by the river around the trail and then along the upper end of the park as well. Don't have details on that yet, but I just wanted to put the date out there in case anyone's interested.
Do we have an approximate size of those trees or the ball size or anything?
I don't know off the top
Okay.
of my head. Nicole would have that
Just
information.
wondering.
I don't want to guess.
Okay.
Is it, I guess my biggest concern with that is we are following like the parks master plan
Mm-hmm,
with where they're at.
that's right.
Okay.
Where are
Yeah.
they gonna be planted?
They're gonna be planted in clusters around the back trail, not gonna be just lined up, at specific intervals. I don't want to say too much because Nicole's spearheading this and she's out of town this week,
Okay,
but
no problem.
we can follow up that information next week. On April 1st, we are going to be hosting an Easter event here at the park. I don't have details yet as of this moment, but I wanted to put that out there. It's on April 1st. It's not a joke. It's a real thing. We're doing it. We will have an Easter bunny here, which will be very fun. And then,
He
just-
ain't tall, is he?
no. He's not as tall as a former elf.
Okay,
we've
okay.
had. We have Mills River Day scheduled for May 6th at North River Farms. We're partnering with them this year. Help out with sponsorships and planning some of those days' activities. And then I also wanted to recognize Nicole Sweat, our Parks Director. She attended a very, very, very in-depth and thorough contracting for construction and design course in the UNC School of Government over last week. It's a 3-day course, and she has shared the materials with us, and it's anything and everything associated with public bidding, construction, architects, engineers, surveyors, the whole 9 yards. Many of the participants in the class were attorneys. That gives you some idea of what level this was at. So it was a very good event. We got very good class for her. We got a lot of good materials out of it, and she passed the exam at the end of the week. So
Awesome.
yeah. Then just some little trivia facts here. Each year, we're required to report on the usage of our electric vehicle charging stations. That's just a requirement of the grant, and we got that. So for calendar year 2021, the stations weren't active till mid-April. So this is about 7.5 months of data. We had 430 sessions. Every time someone plugs in, that's considered a session. And then that was 144 unique vehicles. So obviously some people were coming more than once. In 2022, again, this is a full 12 months of data. There were 891 sessions and 844 unique vehicles. So they are being used very well. We're happy to see that. And then you saw earlier this week, the county announced the reappraisal values for the community. They were quite a bit more dramatic than I think we were expecting at 48% countywide, and Mills River is about 53%, 52 and change. I don't have any numbers to go into in detail at the moment, but I just wanted to kind of put that out there for the public. And then last and certainly not least, our town clerk is not going to be here tomorrow because she's celebrating her birthday. She is turning 39.
39. I had her
Next
for
year.
41.
And that's all I have.
Happy early birthday. So Daniel, on those charging stations, these things are coming up more frequent with the MPO board and attack advisory, so those things went in the 4 years I wasn't on council. So give me a little background on those particular ones.
Sure.
How they work. I mean, are we getting reimbursed for the power usage, or how does that work?
So I'll take a step back to the beginning. Remember the scandal a few years ago with Volkswagen?
Yes.
Reprogrammed their cars to beat the diesel emissions tests. Well, there is obviously a large lawsuit associated with that. North Carolina was the recipient of some billions of dollars. I don't know the exact figure off the top of my head, but that money was to be used for very specific things, one of which were electric vehicle charging capacity across the state. So there's level 1 chargers, level 2 chargers, DC fast chargers, and then whatever the Tesla chargers are called. I'm not sure what that is. So the grant that we applied for and we received were for level 2 fast chargers, which are the variety of chargers that we have, meaning level 1 is like what you might have at your house, where you would plug your car in overnight and it would be charged up in the morning. The charge point chargers that we have 2 charging units and there are 4 ports. So each unit has 2 ports and they're each on their own circuit. So each one of them can be charging at full capacity, even if all 4 are connected to vehicles. And we got a grant it was $5,000 per charging port. So a total of $20,000. The town ended up investing a total of just a little over $35,000 for that installation. We are not getting reimbursed for the power, but the power is coming from the maintenance building, which almost all of its power is coming from the solar panels.
Okay.
So I've not done the calculations to see whether or not that's actually costing the town money, but it will be negligible if it is.
Okay.
Um,
I know they asked for potential charging location.
mhm.
You might have been there that day,
I don't,
Well,
maybe I was.
but they're primarily looking for locations closer to the interstate, of course.
Mhm, mhm.
But there still could be a potential at some point here in the next 2 to 4 years to get them in the system to where we could possibly get reimbursed for the electricity. You know, nothing in the near future, but
Right.
we'd have to figure out a way, we'd have to put some kind of meter or something on it.
Mhm.
That would be, but I'll just make sure I keep it plugged and played of where they know we've got them and they're here all in place already.
Yeah, yeah, they're on the system. So if you, a lot of the electric vehicles themselves, you know, much like most modern vehicles have some sort of infotainment system with the stereo and navigation built
Mhm.
in. Most of the electric vehicles produced today will include a map that shows all charging ports that their vehicle could
Right.
charge with. And so we're on the system, you know, we're on Google Maps.
Okay.
You know, again, we're doing the state reporting, so it's out there.
Yeah, I know the ones along the interstate will be plug and pay, so
Mhm.
there'll be either a card reader
Mhm.
or more likely card readers only,
Mhm.
but where you'd pay for the usage that you get, you would enter your card, plug it in, and then it would figure the kilowatts or whatever you put in your car, use to
Mhm.
put in your car, then it would print you off a ticket when you unplug from it.
And we
So-
have that capability with these charge points. It's not a card reader. There's an app on your phone. So anyone that uses them now has to have the app on their phone.
Okay,
And the purpose of that, even though we're not charging for it, is it unlocks the device from the machine. So if you walk up to it, you can't pull it out.
okay,
If you have the app on your phone, through the wonder of phones, when you hold it up to it, it'll sense that you're near it. And
wow,
then you can unlock whatever port is
Okay.
available. So that we have a rate, it's just set at 0.
Yeah.
So we certainly have that ability.
okay,
And they're pretty sophisticated devices. They have cell cards in them, so we can monitor them. And in fact, the company that installed them does monitor them as well. So if something happens, I don't even know about it by the time they fixed it.
Yeah.
Because they've got their own dashboard. So I just reported 2 statistics, but there's a number of things that we report each year, like the number of kilowatt hours, the number of gallons of gasoline that were offset by people using the charging ports, and a number of other metrics that are reported each year.
just for personal information, have they had any maintenance problem with the chargers themselves since they was installed?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Now, there's
Okay.
been a computer glitch here and there that has been resolved with like firmware updates, but nothing
Okay.
mechanical or anything like that. I'm
Alright.
very happy with them.
Okay, and I believe I stopped you possibly in mid stride there, but I didn't want you to move on before you got done, but.
No, that's
Okay.
all, that's all I
Alright.
had. Thank you.
All right, council comments. Anybody?
I
I
guess
was gonna-
my only one is, I would like to, I know I'm really harping on these trees, but I would like to, you know, in the future, make sure that that's brought before the board.
Mhm.
I mean, I know they're donated, but there's still a value with them. And, yeah, I mean, we need to make sure we're either sticking with the master plan
Sure,
or have a good excuse why we're not,
right.
so.
And you know, depending on the size of these things, whether or not they've got to be staked down
Mhm.
and maintained or watered.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully the spring we won't have to, but
Right.
we'll just have to get stuff ready for that. But
Well, you're able to defer and if somebody doesn't like it, then it's our fault, not yours.
Sure. All right, no council comments anymore.
I-
You got one?
Yeah,
Okay.
I would like to add to the chargers. I, would be interested in knowing, does the solar panels solely cover that? Or does it cost the town money for charging?
Yeah, I'll do my best to figure that math out and get you those numbers.
Okay. And did we have any storm damage during the freeze at Christmas?
Yes, we had some plumbing issues at the new shelter. We're working to get those resolved.
Okay, we never heard of those. Were they insured?
The building hasn't been turned over to us yet. It's still under the contract responsibility, so
Okay.
we've not spent any money on those repairs yet.
It's still in their hands and they've got to redo whatever and make it come back up to code and go again.
Okay. And I wanted to ask, have we had any nonprofit applications for the ARPA funds?
No, not yet.
Okay.
We'll let you know as soon as we get those.
Okay.
Anybody got anything else?
Do we know when the shelters open?
No, we're waiting. There were some plumbing issues in addition to the freeze issue that happened that deal with pressure in the building, which we're trying to sort out right now. So we don't have a date yet.
Is it,
Let you know.
Water pressure issues. Yeah, on our main line coming in here.
are we early or late? I forgot the dates on what we said it was.
I don't know what we said was gonna be the date for opening it, but it was this fiscal year was the project.
Oh,
goal,
okay.
So it's,
We have time.
yeah.
Anything else? Okay, I need a motion to adjourn, please. Thank you, Randy. Second,
I'll second.
thank you.
Oh,
Go ahead. We'll
I
stop.
was gonna say, we've got Billy here tonight. Have y'all met Billy?
No, you want to introduce him?
Yeah. This is Billy Kimsey,
Hey, what?
and he is the new appointment for the planning board.
Planning board. All right, good to have you on board. We'll be getting you, well, was you there Tuesday night? No, he'll start the next one, correct?
He's gets sworn in on the next one.
Okay, all right. See you then. Okay. So we got, for adjournment, we got, Randy with the first, Jeff with the second, all in favor?
Ah.
Aye. Any opposed? We can go home then.